location, River State ranks top 3 amongst the what do you call it now, the 36 states. River State is ranked there. When it comes to the Niger Delta, and we talk about oil derivatives, River State ranks, I think, number 2, either number 2 or number 3. I know it. The top 3 usually, is between Delta, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers. All right. When it comes to internally generated revenue, River State is usually number 2. Sometimes it is displayed on a monthly basis by Abuja, and it shifts to number 3. But it's usually very good internally generated revenue. So sometimes in a month we can have about 91 billion or 109 billion, depending on how good that month was. Sometimes I think there's a time we reached 117 billion. So that's how our revenue generation internally usually looks like. However, when I do see the kind of development in Lagos, and I know a lot of you say, why are we comparing to Lagos? We're not comparing to look down on the government, or we're not comparing to make it look like our government is not working. But sometimes when I look at the development in Lagos, I can't help but wonder. Now, some would argue that Lagos was the former capital of Nigeria, and so the development in Lagos is expected. But I tell you this, I can't remember at the top of my head. I have to check. I'll do a quick Google now, how many local governments are in Lagos. But I do know that when I did visit Lagos, I could see a level of development in almost all, or if not all, the local governments area, or all the local government areas that can be said to be at par with the capital of Lagos State. And then I come back to my state. Some would also argue the landmass, sometimes can be a factor, and that River State has got a bigger landmass than Lagos. However, when we look at it, we have just few local governments, if at all there are any, that can be said to have developments at par with that of the capital of River State. And why have I chosen to have this conversation? It is because it looks like we are towing the path of politics still. It's not that it looks like, it is that we are towing the path of politics still. The big stories, or during the big stories, I mentioned that the PDP, I think that was number 1 on the big stories, that the PDP in River State has decided to petition the police to go and arrest the perpetrators of the violence that happened in Eche local government area and Awuda West local government area. Violence, politics. We're still seeing people grouping themselves, the same movement, grassroots development initiative. I am for SIM, I am for Wike, I am for Boma, I am for, we just taking sides. Meanwhile, Lagos last year commissioned the Blue Rail. That's the Blue Rail line. It's supposed to be, a train system that functions within Lagos State to ease transportation. Remember, Lagos has always had the population issue, and so transporting from point A to point B has always been a problem. And so usually would have traffic situations, and the rail is supposed to reduce the traffic situation. Given the current price of petrol, also it will aid the transportation from point A to point B. You could also use it, I want to believe, to move your goods, your market items from point A to point B. The Blue Rail line is set to use both fuel and electricity. Now let's come to yesterday it was. The president commissioned the Red Rail line. Lagos has got the BRT, right? They seem to have a strategy when it comes to transportation, which is very key, by the way, to the development and the economy of a locality. Let's bring it back to River State. And by the way, the BRT and these rail lines will touch the various local governments in Lagos State. Now, I am not comparing for the sake of politics. For those of you who would call in to want to play politics, that's not what we're looking at. Development now, and that's what we claim we talk about every time it's 3 o'clock, and we claim that up until 7 o'clock. But really, can we indeed have that conversation this hour? In Abia State, Aba to be precise, we've read reports, we've seen blogs, newspapers carry the story about how it looks like power supply will become constant, will become a regular in that locality for a very long time, except there are issues with the power plant that has now been put in place by the former Minister of Power. Did the government have a role to play? Yes, it might have been a minute role. Reading some of the reports, as simple as having a conversation with the NNPC to remove all the bottlenecks for the plant to become, a reality or become effective and optimal. Am I expecting the River State government to build a power plant? I don't know, but we used to have gas turbines. Okay. I cannot categorically say whether those gas turbines are still as effective as I believe they should be. However, we could also have had in the past few years investments come into the power sector. Right? We could have had, and I'm not blaming any particular government now, but I'm looking at it from the development of River State. We could have had that happen. We could have seen how we could have partnered with private investors to invest just as it is done currently in Ogun State. Now, Aba and Abia State, or Aba and Abia State, is not the only place where such investments are happening. Could we have seen that play out over the years? I'm wondering. Well, when I come back from the commercial break, I'll just reel out some more statistics and I get your thoughts on the development of River State. Please do stay tuned.
Abeg, give me 200 naira 9 mobile recharge card.
And now, hard facts on 92.3 Nigeria.
Still listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am Kaladako Rubatibo. Good afternoon to you. Okay, before our time is up, I'm going to quickly open the phone lines. But I was trying to tell you how many local governments Lagos State has. 20. And River State, we've got, 23. Also, I wanted to let you know when River State, I think I mentioned that already. We're going to be 57 years this year, and one would expect that the development would have reached a scale that would have, become the envy of, many other states, or basically would have been a referral point or a reference point for many states in Africa. However, I don't know. We're still talking movements and political groups and Thanksgiving and destruction of Thanksgiving locations and all of that stuff. I was just saying before I went for that break that, we could, as a state, have, welcomed the private investors, given them some incentives to come invest in River State. Now, I remember one of our conversations last year when we were talking about the Dangote refinery, which, by the way, is still yet to bring out petroleum products for consumption by you and I. But when it was supposed to be built, I do hear that, River State was one of its choice location, and, the investment could not thrive or could not work. Because once again, in my opinion, I do think we play a lot of politics in River State. So I guess we may have politicized it. We may have done something, to make it impossible for it to have been done in River State. It could have brought about employment. It could have brought about, the spring up of many other industries in that locality. It would have touched the development of River State. Now, while I once again would say, yes, we have the ring road being built, we have road constructions in other parts and local governments of River State, while I admit and I agree to all of that, I can't help but ask the question, and most especially because some of you have been saying, and I've been listening, some of you have been saying that all of these politics slows, or all of the politicking is slowing down the development of River State. I don't know if you agree. But I'd like to hear from you. The phone lines are officially open, and this is a conversation that I feel like I'm very passionate about. You live in River State, you do business in River State. For those of you listening from outside River State, you visit River State every now and then. Do you think the development in the state has developed like it should have? For the lack of a better word, so permit me to say it like that. Do you think that River State has developed in the rate and manner that it should have? I'd like to hear from you. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. We also have 0817-923-0007. And there's something I've noticed, and I do not know if it's also because of politics, but when a government, irrespective of the various administrations that we have experienced since 1999, when a project is done, the project is done to score a point. I don't know if I'm right, but I'd like to get to hear from you. It's done to score a point. Okay, so Kalada built this, Kalada did that, Kalada, and so when even the followers are arguing, they say, what did Kalada do, Seth? Another person will not call in. Oh, Kalada did this road, Kalada built that school, Kalada did this thing. But where are some of those projects in the last how many years? 16, 20, 24 years. Where are these projects? I mean, I mentioned the gas turbine. How effective is it? I mentioned, okay, let's even focus on agriculture. The Shanghai farm, this current administration talked about, redeveloping it. What is happening to that project? The Buguma fish farm, right? I could go on and on. I mean, the school said several times to all the projects. It's one thing to argue, oh, my principal built this thing, but have we really developed in the manner and in the approach that we should have developed? And it's a big question, and I'm hoping you have the answers to that question, because it's heavy on me. And I do not know why the calls keep dropping, but there is a call screener, so when you do call in, she's going to take your name, take your number, and I will take your contribution. Once again, 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, and these are the call numbers. There is the WhatsApp number, 0809-0306416. This one, okay, I'm going to read the message from Emi Fiaga, but let's listen to Ibiso from Audley Road. Ibiso, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you. Yeah, welcome. Good evening to you, or good afternoon, good evening, whichever one.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yes, my name is Ibiso from Audley Road.
Okay.
Lagos State, why I like the way you compare Lagos and Rivers. You are right, my brother. Nobody should tell me. Now, let me start with the internal generated revenue before I go to the blue and red line.
Yeah.
Last year, I think June or July, Lagos State generated 400 billion naira as international
That's the
generated revenue
for a particular month or for the entire
last
month?
year.
Okay.
Last year, June, July, within June and July,
Yeah.
I will send you a message. You see it.
No,
June
I
and
know.
July.
I know. I already have the statistics.
400 billion.
I wanted you to be specific. Yeah. Okay.
I can hear you.
No, I said I already have the data. I just wanted you to be specific because when you were talking, you sounded like it was for the entire year, but I know it was just for a month. So go ahead, I'm listening.
No, not entire year, just in a month.
Okay.
Now, in Lagos State, like as I am now, I have my card. If I want to enter BRT or the rail line, I have my card that I will use and pay. Now I'll go to the state government. They are making good revenue there.
Oh, okay.
If, for example, I'm going from VI to a far distance, I'll pay maybe 1,000 for normal bus. That one I can pay 700 naira. And it's not going short continuous. Once you slot your card and your card, you don't have any money there, the team reject you and you must buy a card, buy more units in your card. Like one, I still have like 1,500 in my card there. Now,
are you calling me from late? Are you living in?
Even the more drivers, they are still making their money. But the states, with this BLT they are running in different areas, they are making money. Go to the blue line. The same thing, they are making good money. When the former governor of Rivers State, was building monorail, they said it's an elephant project. And do you know that if you go the governor and start the blue rail line in Lagos, it's not Sanwo-Olu. I don't think it's Ambo this is.
No, I think it started way back. Back in, I think the idea was from way back, and then Tinubu had, the initiative to put it into motion. I think so.
Thank you, because I like the way you are going about it. Now, that machine they say it's an elephant project, and in Germany that they have monorail, it takes more than 20 years to complete it. It's something that you build or not government because you start. Now, I think the Rivers have such thing. We generate good revenue there. But it's an elephant project. Now, go to Songhai Farm. What happened to Songhai Farm? That people can do events, go and stay only there for holiday. Songhai Farm is dead. The same taxpayers that they used to build that farm was burned up. Now, this present administration want to start it again.
All right.
Taxpayers' money.
All right.
All
right, Ibiso, I've got to go. Ibiso, thank you very much. I've got David from Woji, and after David, there is Zion. David, welcome.
Thank you, Canada. Good evening.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Okay, yeah. I just want to push my voice forward for this topic. I quite agree with you that for about 57 years now, Rivers State have not really seen measurable amounts of development. Up till now, we still have a one state. And I keep wondering the role of the elder statesmen in this Rivers State. We have a lot of men who are supposed to play advisory role to some extent to the government of Rivers State. We have issues with development because there's not been enough decentralization of development.
Okay.
So, specifically, you look at Lagos State, for instance. You have various parts of Lagos State with some reasonable amount of development. So, but in the case of Rivers State, everything concentrates in Port Harcourt.
All right.
Maybe some part of Obioko. So I think that previous administrations have been looking at popularities over the years, and they've not looked at how to develop a framework that would enhance sustainability of their policies and programs. So if I have my way, I would suggest to the present government of Rivers State to do more to encourage decentralization of development.
All right, then.
We look at the HA, we look at LMA, look at other areas that this state needs, that development is needed.
All right, I've got to go, David, but I get your point. Thank you very much. I've got Zion from Jari. Zion, welcome. Quickly, I've got a commercial. So quickly, what is on your mind? Please tell me.
The problem we have in this environment is that most of the projects does not have a legal document that binds and sustains it. The projects more of are politically motivated. So once they end on that administration without completion, it's an abandoned project. But the difference in Lagos, for every project, it has a legal binding. A binding that will sustain the project. So when an administrator or a governor is coming, he has a working document and is going to continue from where they stop. The blue rail and the red rail today we are talking about in Lagos did not start today. It started from Latif Jakande since 1983 thereabout. Not today. But today, look at what they have achieved. But come to Port Harcourt or Bayelsa State, mention one project that was sustained from 1983 to date that was sustained and come to conclusion.
Funny enough, Zion, I was going to ask that question after you ended your call. I was going to ask, what are the things that we can point as development in River State, really? What are the things that we can say,
because most of the projects, they have no legal framework. If you build this project, how are we going to sustain it? How are we going to maintain it? How do we get administrator? How do we get... These are what we call that formulate the legal framework. So once Mr. Zion is leaving and Canada is coming in, he already have a document to work with.
Zion, I've got to go. But thank you very much. I've got to go. This topic is one of the reasons I call the political situation in Rivers as unnecessary shenanigans that need to stop. Rivers State government has failed to deliver real development to the people in the last 9 years. I perceive the administration of Governor Sim Fubara as would be the worst visionless, political heel will and cotton nail kind of government. Kalada, Lagos is too much ahead of Rivers State when trying to make comparative analysis of development. Please check what small Yobe State has achieved in health and FAC allocation. Edo State will, with mega funds, has built two modular refineries, Cross River as factories. I've got to go. There's a commercial to stay tuned. Oh my, the commercial is not now, so I'm just going to keep talking. My apologies. but you know, I was reading Fiaga's this, and he says, Edo State with mega funds has built two modular refineries, Cross Rivers has factories built, but Rivers is known for shameful sycophancy amid series of failures and non-performance. Fiaga. So now, can we go back to the people and the mentality that we have in Rivers State? Could it have contributed majorly to... I don't want to say, because I remember having a guest sometime, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, and he said, see, yes, there is development. We can't say there has been no development over the years, but just maybe the development is small or slow. So, yeah, and a new question. What can we point out as development in River State? What are the things that we can look at? Yet again, I look at Lagos, I can see a thriving business environment. It's now called the economic hub of the nation. I mean, even the presidency admits to that. When we look at the transportation sector, it has a robust transportation sector. Maybe one insecurity or the other happening in the state, but yeah, it's not listed amongst the most insecure states in the country. So when we look at all of these things, when we see development, I mean, people are more engaged, and so all of that. They may not have the kind of power supply Abba has. Abba will be reference point for a long time, trust me. But hey, what can we really point? Is it the power sector? Is it the educational sector? Is it the healthcare sector? What if we were talking development amongst the committee of states, what can we say River State is known for? All right, because I know when they describe River State, they describe us as oil states, and oil is not controlled by the state; it's controlled by the federal government. So I'm really thinking. Well, let's read this one. It says, Canada, let's tell ourselves the truth. River State is way behind when it comes to development. They have sent away their big industries. Most developments done in River State were in the 80s and early 90s. River State is backwards in development. River State should be competing with Lagos State. Also, River State is amongst the oldest states in Nigeria. Brightner from Woji. Okay, I don't think it's... He said it's amongst, so yeah, I leave it at that. This one says, good evening, Canada. We are not ready for investment yet. When we are done with our Supreme Court victory, perpetual Thanksgiving in the 319 wards and 23 LGAs of the state, build solid political structures, then we can talk about development. But remember, we are in the 10th month of Fubara's reign, and the only achievement is Christmas bonus. Uzoma with that one. Okay, somebody sent me pictures. Special greetings to you, Mr. Kalada. Once again, my name is Comrade Odiadi Godspire Positive from Ususu JK1. The picture, or pictures, I think you meant to say, I just sent you, is the current state of the almighty John Krama Grammar School. Sometime I asked if John Krama where there is over 60 oil well, or where there are over 60 oil wells at Adibawa is in River State, because no development at all, no functional health facilities, no power, ECC. Thank you, Canada. Thank you too for sending me that message. Let's see. I think I've read those messages, so I'm gonna skip. All right, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and my question remains the same. What can we point? What can we point as development? And you know, for those of you trying to blame the current administration, I don't know, not because I want to take sides, and I don't want to take sides. I'm going to say I don't think it's fair to blame just this administration. We want to look at it from an holistic point of view. You know, 57 years of existence, or almost 57 years of existence. Have we done well? If it were a human being, it will be approaching the grave, right? 57 years, you would have passed the what do you call it now? The limits. There's what they call this stuff now. Just skip my head. Why? Okay, it's Friday, I guess. I've got Sylvanus from Borokiri. Oh my, I missed that one. Sylvanus, you call back if you can. Let's take this one. 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good evening,
Yeah, what's your name?
Hello, good evening.
Hello, Zia, welcome.
Hello, we are asking about development in River State. And at the last administration, let me inform you, we have flyover 1, flyover 2, flyover 3, flyover 4, flyover 12. When this construction was going, I asked on them that what is the increased value to River State? I'm not condemning road because of money. Let's look at the administration of great difficulties. See the plantation in Goni, you see the Tongai Farm, you see the land at the K, you see the Great Tampa. There are so many agricultural hospitals was built by the administration of Great City. Had it been at least to sustain such projects, we have given more investment for these people and give people jobs. See, I tell them that any administration that does not have the capital development and the affect community will end up building roads and building roads and building roads. At the end of 2-3 years, those roads will go back to the constitution. So the message I would say for Mr. Fubara that you should look down and employ River people. We have a direct processing company so evil. That company was built for in the things that need to it state. Canada is not there. Those machines are not there. This thing should be harnessed. Put this thing and be in place. And plus, for you see that when we are producing it, and from are building harnessed and specifically some cooperative advantage will have to be from local government. That government should let those cooperative advantages and invest in capacity.
All right, then. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I've got this anonymous caller. Oh my! I think that call ended. Okay, someone just sent me the the words I was looking for. Life expectancy. So yes, if it were a human being, if the state were a human being, the state would have passed the life expectancy of a Nigerian man. Yes, it would have. And guess what? We're wondering, is it enough time to say that the development is enough or not enough? And if you say it's enough, what are the things that you can point to? If you say it's not enough, what are the things that you can point to as well? I think I can take one more call and then we call it a wrap for today. This one says, Kalada, how can River State develop when in the past 20 years existing governors squandered the state resources in a quest to become president? Transformati industrial layout that used to be the symbol of the state's development is now a shadow of his old self. Since the advent of this present democracy, River State has been on the path of retrogression instead of development. That is the truth. DK Port Harcourt. Now let's see. The only development in River State is building and pulling down of political structures, even when other states like Lagos are focusing on governance. River State is battling on 2024 appropriation bill. Governor Fubara should focus on agriculture and human capital development and stop building flyovers that have no impact on the people. This one says, good evening, Mr. Kada. Let's see. As at today, we don't have a strategic development for River State. What we have achieved in the last 16 years is urbanization of Obiakpo and Falga constituency 1 and 3, and a few roads in the other LJs which do not align to any state strategic development plan. Imagine the rail transport network you highlighted at the beginning. It's not likely that the state government can complete a rail transport network in a major city within 4 years. You said the truth is, since 1999, our governors have done infrastructural projects with the aim of actually aligning to some long-term plans. Instead, they conceptualize, initiate, and actualize projects in anticipation of the next elections. Making matters worse, all three governors always had presidential ambitions in their second term, thus abandoning actual development of the state for the last 2-3 years of their terms. Tex Oibo. But I've got to go. Do stay tuned. We continue open season. Sylvanus, I'm sorry I can't.
All right, to Better Country, good man, woman. Your Chukma station 94.1 Wazobia FM. Assistance right now.